Leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Man, that was nice.
What?
It was nice. Boy, we're getting some tasty
Crushing
chops
it.
in this morning. Okay, so we're talking about shipping, and guess who's going to start paying for it? You and us.
Us.
And everyone.
Everybody.
So we've lived in this world of free shipping for everything. Like Amazon's like free shipping, Sweetwater, free shipping, Casino Guitars, free shipping, everything. You're going to start seeing that change, I think. Or what they're already doing to you, you're going to start seeing the prices go up. So we've noticed a price increase across the board with Fender.
Yep.
With Taylor didn't really do it this year. PRS has a small price increase, but because they're increasing they started adding gig bags to some of their SE lines and stuff, which is actually awesome. They brought those back from when they were gone for a few years.
Yep.
But I noticed with Fender and Gibson, like there's some dramatic price increases across their amplifier ranges, like $200 for some of their products. Shipping is going wild.
Through the roof.
There's so many reasons. We're going to kind of break it down. We're going to get right into it because it's kind of a long,
thing.
twisted web.
Sorted.
So let's start with the first and sort of most unique thing, shipping containers.
Shipping containers.
Right?
Who knew?
Hey, why don't you lead us into shipping containers for a minute?
Well, shipping containers are those things they put on ships that go across the sea filled with the things we want. But in times past,
Yes.
lots of things would get shipped in airplanes. Actually, in commercial flights. They would run out space. Things would go across the ocean. It was quick. It was great. It was cheap-ish.
So you probably didn't know this, but when you're flying in your little adventure over to Japan or wherever to the Asian Pacific rims, I always think of
You love the Pacific Rim so much.
Sock'em Robot. $200 million later. That was the first movie my wife and I saw when we just had our first kid and the first time we left the house. It ingrained in my mind.
I get that.
Happiness.
I get it.
Anyway, so when you're flying over there, you probably don't know or flying back that they're sticking a bunch of iPhones and back in the old days iPods in that flight underneath you because those corporations will rent space in the airplanes just because get it over fast, sell it. These are
and it
low
makes
weight.
sense. Yeah, it makes sense for those because they are small.
Yes.
High value.
Yes. Continue. Sorry.
So, good old COVID. Not so many overseas flights going on at the moment. So now there is a huge burden on those shipping containers. Those shipping containers, which used to be, somewhere in the $3,000 range to fill one and ship it, now could be $10,000 to $11,000 is what it looks like from what we have researched. So that is a huge increase in price and in expense.
And I'm into the whole environmental thing. Everybody sort of knows that, knows me a bit. And I watched what they do with shipping containers. I was talking to the guys about the other day. A lot of cities are using shipping containers to start trying. Their plan to use shipping containers for low cost housing, still not really cheap, but they're using those because they're there, but they're not there anymore.
They're not there. Well, and
the idea was these surplus shipping containers were going to be used for these cool, modern looking, low cost housing to make inner city housing affordable and hip and cool.
There's all sorts of cool. There's a great bar in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, where the outside bar is a shipping container. They turn into a bar. It's really cool.
Or at NAMM, they have the little shipping containers that they turn into mobile recording studios.
Awesome.
Really heavy mobile recording studios.
But so that's not available. The other big thing, it used to be that when you shipped something in a container, it would sit and wait to get filled on the other side.
Of course, that makes sense.
That is efficient. Not anymore. Now they're making so much money on it. It's going to come, let's say it comes to us from China, they're going to send those empty containers back so that they can fill them again.
And then if you think about that, the fuel cost of the freighter to move that across for an empty container is going to be tacked on to someone, i.e. the end user, i.e. all of us.
Which maybe is a nice segue into another issue.
Fuel.
I
was like, where are we going? I don't know.
Where are we going there?
I felt like I was in grade school again. I was like, God.
Are they calling on me again?
What's the square? I used to hate that.
Master Clement?
I'd go up there and the worst still ever was when I went up there and I was wearing my badass new Timberland boots. I got my first pair or something. I walked up and I was getting kicked out of class actually at this point. So I was getting ready to huff out and the little parts got attached to each other and I fell and it tore my boots in half. It was so embarrassing.
It's the worst thing ever.
I did it in front of these really cute girls in that class. I think and she lives in town Nikki. She's from Rockingham. And I thought she was the prettiest thing. She still is the prettiest. She's beautiful. But and I was so embarrassed.
The upside is that she didn't care about you anyway.
Never did.
So there you go.
I think this was like an 8th grade or 9th grade or something. I don't remember when this was. It was.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Flash. It was back in the days like when girls wore like the white tennis Reeboks and then the big socks that were pushed down and then like skin colored pantyhose and like a jean skirt and a jean jacket.
What I'm talking about.
It was like how curly could you get your hair?
And the big bangs.
Those are the glory days. Anyway, back to it. So fuel prices are going up. Now, I remember these strange, I was just talking about this with someone the other day, like this, back in the old days, like when, I think it was, like, God, 8 years ago or so, like, fuel was expensive.
God, well, I was thinking about that the other day when, remember.
$4 a gallon at some point?
Insane.
And then we've been living this sort of fantasy glory land of, that could have gone dark, of like under $2 fuel prices a gallon. And it's been awesome. That's what I remember it should be.
I remember when fuel hiked up that much, when it was climbing and it was getting to like $4. I was teaching a lot of homeschool students, and I was going to their house. I was driving all day, every day, to different lessons, and it killed me, man. Like you don't think about how that really, I mean, that was a real expense. Like it wrecked my sort of profit margin there.
If there was a world where like guitars and things in music had to be driven around in trucks and flown in places in airplanes and shipped across things and the fuel prices go up, they have to pass that on. They have to pass it on.
Unfortunately.
And that's where price increases. The guitar, we've been seeing for the past 4 or 5 years, about 5 years because the fuel prices started coming out. I guess 4 years, yeah, past 4 years. Any prices we've seen across the guitar lines has usually been for improvements in the guitars. I saw the price increases just hit this year, like on February 1st of 2021. It was just like blanket price increases.
Just a price increase.
No product like changes. Like they didn't get like a new like rectifier tube. That's a funny story in our own shop. That's a side point.
That's a great story.
None of that, but no, it was just like it's the same thing. It's just now $250 more. Or now it's $150 more. Now it's $200 more.
And it's easy to rail against that, and to be like, God, darn you, corporations. But when you think about these factors, I mean,
no, it's like I was sort of railing against it at first. I was irritated, then I started.
Sure.
That's why this video spawned. We're like, why is this going up?
And we probably will again in our frustration, but. At least there are some reasons there.
No, like they have to, because if they don't do that, they can't pay their employees the same amount. They have to like decrease that. And I know a lot of people in these major corporations did take a pay cut to retain their jobs, and like there were some harsh ones too, and then there's some not so bad ones, and then they took a pay cut, not knowing that last year was going to be an explosion of guitar sales. It was funny because like in March, in April, everyone was like, I don't know if we're gonna have jobs next. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, we don't only have jobs, we have bonuses. I'm going on the houseboat. So everyone's buying houseboats in like the sort of panhandle of Florida.
We bought 3 houseboats.
That's where we're all spending the rest of our lives. Ours don't have engines. We have the little sticks.
We put the kids in the bottom. We're like, heave, ho, row, row.
Which one was, no, I'm not going to go side story. Sorry. It's all about just staying underwater for 45 minutes. I can't do it. Anyway, it's a neat infographics video about a kid that stayed underwater for 45 minutes and he survived, no brain damage. Unreal. Check it out. It's in Italy. Unbelievable. It's like a 13-year-old kid.
That's crazy.
He was unconscious for like a week and a half. Probably the best sleep he ever got, but came back completely fine.
We're going to watch this right after this.
Unreal. That's why I was just thinking with the sticks, because that's where he got his foot stuck on a stick in Italy, because they get around on boats like that for real.
That's true.
Anyway, so fuel prices, you get the idea. It's going to get passed on. So as a lot of people don't know, like, well, they know when we get guitars shipped from these manufacturers, we have to pay for the shipping.
Yes.
Okay, so the shipping is paid, but they get a great rate on shipping.
Yes, because they ship a lot.
So let's say like every guitar we get from Taylor is like $40. We pay that to get shipped from California. Every guitar from PRS might be $20 from Maryland.
From Maryland.
And sort of like in that same sort of 40 range for Fender from California. Yep. They got to ship it across the country. The way it works with they get great shipping rates because they ship, thousands of guitars to hundreds of guitars a day.
Right.
And the way it works with Taylor for us is that we've always said this program was like, you buy a certain amount of guitars, you reach a certain level of dealership, they cover the shipping.
Right.
Which is awesome.
It is awesome.
They don't do that anymore. That was an announcement. They just sort of snuck that in when we were like having a meeting, and they were having a Zoom meeting.
By the way.
It wasn't even by the way. It was, it was sort of a funny pitch, like, we're doing this 50% like shipping freight credit. I was like, what do you mean 50%? I was like, my friends.
Like, wait a minute, that's not as good.
It wasn't really a good explanation. They're just like, we're just not. We just can't do that anymore. But then we started looking into it, like, I kind of get it now.
Yeah.
because they did not do a price increase across the board this year.
And they got to take that out somewhere.
They're doing it that way. So when you are negotiating with guitar shops, which we don't discourage, be fully aware that like the shipping costs are a huge thing that we were able to offer to our customers and our friends and everything. Just like that, we would just, that's fine. Like we don't mind like getting that out. We save that money. Let's offer all that, any type of incentives we can.
Yes.
That's the only incentive we get. They don't give us like anything else really. So that's an effect we have taken for granted, and you do too as a negotiator.
Now, do you think, and I believe I know the answer,
No, maybe,
that this shipping increase is hitting people who are selling their own personal guitars?
yes,
I think so too.
because most definitely, that's a great point. Because I would not even have thought of that off the top of my head.
Because you haggle all the time on Reverb. Oh, send it to me. I'll do this with free shipping. And I've seen people say, and these are just anecdotal evidence, if you will, from Facebook or wherever. But I've heard people say in posts that it used to cost them $50-$60 to ship a guitar somewhere. Now it's costing them like $110 through UPS, which is
That's a lot.
that's a big increase.
Yeah, because we were just talking about with like Derek and the whole gang yesterday. Like if somebody buys a $499 GS Mini from us and they're in California, it doesn't make much sense for us to ship that anymore. So what you might start seeing across the board with shops is that like free shipping over a certain amount.
Sure.
And $500 might be that threshold. So at $499, you're not quite there.
Because you got to think it costs us the same to ship that $500 guitar that it does a $5,000 guitar.
Correct.
$5,000 guitar and we pay $100 to ship it.
And we get good shipping rates.
We do
too,
because we ship a lot as well.
Unless you're shipping to like some weird town of Montana.
Iceland.
Yeah,
or Iceland.
Well, anything outside of the country is weird. Canada's not that bad.
Canada's surprisingly
it can get
okay.
weird sometimes,
Yeah.
but no, it's so if you're shipping a guitar across the country, you're spending $150 to ship it. It just doesn't make sense. No. And the consumers, the person buying it, the end users, like I don't want to pay that either on top of this guitar.
And we don't blame you.
And so I'm going to find it locally, but you can't.
Right.
There's a lot. We use California because we ship a ton of guitars to California.
We do.
And a lot of guitars of ours come from California, so it seems like this weird counterintuitive thing.
Carolina, California.
And apparently from like one of our videos, we're talking about the Gibsons are all gone, and like in Southern California, they have Gibsons in the guitar centers. Apparently, I'm getting lots of feedback on that.
Weird.
But they're all from 2019. In 2020, maybe.
Well, there you go.
Some. So they have some on their hooks there. So if you're looking for Gibsons, that's just go to
Southern California.
SoCal GCs because because the SoCal GCs kind of eviscerated the independent shops, and then now the GCs are suffering too. So it's a funny sort of weird pattern that seems to do. Interesting. But no, anyway. So so just be aware that like as this goes forward too, I have a hunch that fuel prices are going to get higher. That tends to happen with changes of administration. And our changes towards our environmental policies, we're going to have, and this whole idea of the pipeline shutting down too, maybe, or just renegotiation of that, oil prices will go up.
True.
Don't get me wrong, the oil barons are going to make just as much money and more. They're going to be happy about this.
Thank goodness.
Thank God. I feel like they were suffering this past few years. We're not making the billions we definitely need to be making.
Right.
We need more of that. And so oil prices, and those folks will be happy about this whole thing because oil prices are going up.
We can all breathe a sigh of relief there. We were all worried.
I was thinking, I feel for those Enron guys. That's not the same thing. I was just thinking about those poor guys there, or any pyramid schemes of sorts. Like, we're not pyramid schemes. Like, I know, but it feels like it sometimes. I think we'd all be driving battery cars if it wasn't for some of the lobbyists that were involved here.
That's probably true.
I'm not getting political with it because I'm definitely don't know what I'm talking about. But I want to have a battery car because I just think they're really cool.
Oh, it's cool. Like
I want a Tesla with that doors open on the side like wings. I don't even care if it's a Tesla. I just want a car that I'll take a DeLorean if anybody's got a DeLorean.
A battery-powered DeLorean.
God, you'd have to have such a big battery. Those things are so heavy.
It'd be great.
So what if they made like a movie with like a DeLorean that could go back in time and change?
That's ridiculous.
Change the oil industry. That's this really boring environmental like. Matt Damon's the star of that one.
It'd be great.
Whatever that movie of his was, where he like was an oil person and it was boring.
Somebody get on that. Somebody start making that out there. Fan fiction.
No, I love Matt Damon. That movie was kind of sleepy. Born Identity, one of the best movies ever.
It is.
Ever. Even the Mars movie is a lot of fun too.
Did I watch that? I don't
know what it's called. I can't remember.
What do you think? Is that it for our shipping?
I think we're done.
Infogram here.
So let us know if you're like, especially if you're like you do a lot of reselling on Reverb. If you've noticed it starting to creep up, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Right now, just let us know what you have seen. If and just take into account that this is happening now. So again, there could be a huge shift.
Yes.
Happening of this free shipping and changing it, or just you're going to see price increases.
We will see. Time will tell.
Who knows? We'll find out in the next year.
There you go. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell so you don't miss videos in the future. As always, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, guys.